Hi, I'm Christine Berry, and I'm a business coach for highly sensitive entrepreneurs. And I want to share some interesting information that I've discovered through my work. So, one of the things is that many highly sensitive entrepreneurs notice something really interesting when they start learning about marketing. Um, the strategies themselves often make sense and the intention behind them is really clear. But there's something about the experience of marketing that can feel really uncomfortable or really draining. And in this video, I want to explore why that happens and why highly sensitive people often approach marketing a lot more differently than everyone else. So, highly sensitive people process their information deeply. They notice way more than the average bear. They notice like the emotional nuance, the tone, the subtle shifts in energy. And this awareness can be really valuable in your work. Any work that involves supporting or guiding other people, it's like a superpower. It's amazing. But conversely, that sensitivity also means that highly stimulating environments can feel really intense. And marketing spaces often feel like really stimulating environments. And, you know, I know these are strong, there are strong opinions around this and lots of advice and heaps of tactics that people say will get you through this, algorithms and trends that quickly shift and whatnot. But for someone who processes their information really deeply, this environment feels like it creates a sense of overload and overwhelm. Another reason marketing can feel uncomfortable is that the energetic tone is weird in some marketing spaces, right? So some approaches will tell you to emphasize urgency. Some will tell you that you've got to create competition. Others will encourage you to be very persuasive. And often that feels like being coercive. Okay. And highly sensitive people tend to notice these things immediately. Many people feel a natural desire for a communication that feels really clear, respectful, and authentic. And when marketing approaches align with those values, that means that sharing your work becomes way easier because your message feels really natural and your conversations flow with more ease, right? People recognize them in themselves in the work because of the way you're describing it. Okay. Another experience that many highly sensitive entrepreneurs describe is like information overload. Honestly, marketing advice is everywhere. You can find it on social media, you can take courses, podcasts, articles, all of it. And every source often refers to a new fancy system or tactic, right? And highly sensitive people tend to explore ideas really deeply. So instead of skimming past this information, they often engage with it really fully and deeply. And over time, this creates a feeling of having too many options and not enough clarity about which direction to actually follow, right? Many entrepreneurs find it helpful to take a step back and focus on a smaller number of foundations that guide their marketing decisions instead. All right, so usually you want to find a place that has a lot of value on authenticity. You want to have the way that you communicate your work to really reflect the intention that's behind it. So when your messaging feels really aligned with the deeper purpose of your work, then sharing ideas becomes much easier. Conversations feel genuine. Your clients start to recognize themselves in the things that you're saying. And the marketing that you're putting out there becomes an extension of the work itself rather than a separate activity that you have to do. So, one more aspect that often affects highly sensitive entrepreneurs is around pace. Many marketing systems encourage you to be quick, rapid output, constant posting, fast growth. Um, Unfortunately, highly sensitive people often benefit, not from that. They benefit from a rhythm that allows the ideas to settle and develop. They need reflection time and clarity around it. That becomes a big part of that process. And when the pace of the marketing aligns with how someone naturally works, their consistency becomes a whole lot easier because you're not overwhelming yourself and you're not burning out. And over time, when you create that steady rhythm, you get really meaningful results from your work. So, what many highly sensitive entrepreneurs actually discover is that marketing becomes much easier when a few core elements begin to align. So, energy and intention will create direction, and clear communication, like tangible, easy to describe messaging, expresses the value of your work. And then you look at the business structure that supports the growth of the business itself. When these elements, excuse me, all work together, marketing feels less complicated and it starts to feel easier and more natural. Your work's easier to describe to other people, and the right people get it and they recognize themselves in the message that you're putting out there. And your business starts to develop in a more grounded and sustainable way. So, if you do identify as a highly sensitive entrepreneur like myself, and you've noticed some of these experiences in your own journey, just know that others feel this way too. Many thoughtful entrepreneurs are learning how to build businesses that honor both their sensitivity and their desire to make a meaningful impact. So, in the next video, I'm going to talk about like what hidden strengths you will bring to your business and why these qualities often become some of your greatest advantages.